Hello and happy Saturday, everybody. I am Pam, your Long Beach yogini, and I'm here to bring you a gentle flow. Now, when I say in yoga that I'm going to bring you a more gentle flow, it's for beginners, obviously, but it's also for a person who has a little bit more yoga experience that just wants to have a practice that is just a little bit lighter. So we're going to start this practice today in a seated position. I have my yoga blanket so that I can have a nice tall spine. And we're going to get in whatever comfortable seated position suits your body today. We want to just keep a few things in mind. We want to close our eyes, or maybe just relax our gaze directly in front of us. We want to relax our shoulders just a little bit, draw the shoulders down, tuck the chin, keep the spine nice and tall. And maybe if you'd like to connect to your mat just a little bit, maybe rock side to side, get those fleshy parts of your sit bones out of the way so that you can connect that bone to bone. You can connect to the earth beneath you. And just start to breathe. Draw the breath in. Let it just kind of move through your body and just release that breath, draw it out. We always start our yoga practice just doing some type of breathing exercise just to connect to ourselves, to connect within. Tuck the chin just a little bit. That allows you to just release that weight of the head off of our shoulders and off of our neck. We're going to take a nice inhale in, and we're going to draw that gaze upward, chin to the sky. As we exhale, we're going to draw that chin down to our chest. Inhale, drawing the gaze up, and exhale, drawing the chin to the chest. Take a few more of these and just really make an effort today to connect the breath to the movement. And I will just kind of cue you and guide you throughout the practice today to keep that in mind. Come back to center, and we're just going to do some very simple circular rotations of our head. You choose what direction organically feels good to you. Take a pause wherever you are, and then go in the opposite direction. Maybe connect the breath, inhaling as you come up, and then exhaling as you come down and around. Again, just connecting that breath to the movement. Come back to your center. Let's pay a little attention to our shoulders. Let's take that inhale breath in, and let's bring those shoulders up toward our ears. And as we exhale, we're just going to roll those shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. You take this on your own. This is going to be your own rhythm, your own movement. Moving as slow or as fast as it feels right for you today. Come back to your center, and let's take it in the opposite direction, achieving that balance. Inhaling, lifting the shoulders up, and rolling them this time forward. Again, you find your own pace, your own groove for this movement. And then come back to center. Let's bring the legs together just briefly. Take a moment just to maybe just massage the legs, get that blood flowing. Give your legs just a second to unfurl, and then maybe cross your legs in the opposite direction. That's what we call yogi's choice. Take an inhale breath in and raise those hands overhead. As you exhale, bring that right hand right there beside you. Try to keep your heart center open, and just inhale, taking that left hand over to the right. You might have a nice little bend in that right elbow. You always have the option to take that right elbow down to the mat, but we don't want to compromise this posture by lifting up the sitting bones. So if your sitting bones are lifted, just come up just a little bit. And you see a black cat or a gray cat, that's onyx and amethyst. Little push into that right palm, and come back up to center. Maybe just take a moment here to stretch and extend those fingertips And take a nice inhale breath. Bring that left hand down beside you. Inhale first. And exhale. That right hand comes over to the left. Taking the left elbow down to the mat or not. Again, that's yogi's choice. Take an inhale breath, pushing into that left palm. Take a moment just to breathe, stretch and extend. Bring that right palm behind you, nice and close to the spine. Bring that left palm onto the right knee. Take a breath first just to relax your body. And then take that gaze over the right shoulder. We want to twist just from our center and not from the hips. Bring a little pressure onto that right knee with the left palm. Take a breath first and twist a little bit deeper. Getting that gaze just a little bit more over that right shoulder. Inhale just to take the gaze forward first, and let's lift those hands up again. A little stretch and extension, and then we'll do the other side. Take that inhale breath to relax the body. Little pressure to that left knee with the right palm, gazing over that left shoulder. Continue breathing, although the breathing is a little bit more challenged when you are in a twisted position. Breathe in again, a little bit more pressure onto that left knee. Gazing deeper over that left shoulder. Come back to center for the last time. Bring those hands overhead. Take a breath here first. Palms are facing toward the front of your mat, and just bring those palms down directly in front of you. Keep your head nice and low, because what we're doing is we're using the weight of our head to stretch, particularly stretching into the hips, into the thighs. Let's take a nice inhale breath and start to walk those hands out in front of us. Now you can stay on your palms, or you can maybe come up on the fingertips. I'm going to let you explore and find out what feels best for you. Let's try to stretch just a little bit deeper. Take that inhale breath first and walk those hands out just a little bit more. Keep the sitting bones connected. Take a breath and walk the hands back. We're going to inhale those hands up. Make that connection with those palms. Take the hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Draw your shoulders down and back, bringing your shoulder blades nice and close, eyes closed. And just take the head up for a nice little counter stretch to that seated forward fold. Breathe. Remember, we want to connect breath to movement. Bring your head back to center. Bring those hands overhead as you inhale. Exhale, release. We're going to uncross those legs, and we're going to come into tabletop position. Now you can use your blanket or your towel to put under your knees for more comfort. For tabletop, we want to make sure that our knees are directly beneath our hips. Our wrists are going to be directly beneath our shoulders. When you look between your knees, you don't want to see your feet. That's how you know that you're in good alignment. So we're going to inhale here, and we're going to drop our belly down, lift up the tailbone, and take the gaze up to the ceiling. On that exhale breath, we're going to push into the mat, kind of like you're pushing it away from you. Draw your tailbone down toward the mat, chin to chest. Inhale, drop the belly, gaze is upward. Exhale, pushing into that mat, drawing the tailbone down toward the mat as well. Continue with this movement, and feel free to add any kind of organic movement that feels good to you. You might want to put a little micro bend into your elbows. That is really nice for the back. You might want to do a little bit of hip circles. Just make sure that whatever hip circles you do on one side, we want to do that on the opposite side as well. Remember, achieving balance on and off the mat. Come back to your center. I'm going to just move this blanket just a little bit to the side. We're going to bring the left hand so it's just right directly below your face. Take an inhale breath. Lift that right hand up, stretch and extend. Feel that nice stretch in that right shoulder. As you exhale, we're going to thread that needle, bringing that right hand under the left, bringing that right shoulder to the mat. Now, there's a variety of things that we can do with this left hand. We can keep it directly out in front of us. In other words, just having it as a direct extension from the left shoulder. If you want to add to the stretch, you can walk that left hand over to the right side. You will immediately feel a deeper stretch. If you want something even deeper, take that left hand, wrap it around your body from the back, and grab a hold of the inside of that right thigh. This way you can take that left shoulder up to the ceiling. You can take that gaze up to the ceiling or straight ahead. Release that bind, bring the left hand back to the mat, and come back to your tabletop position. We're going to do the other side, bringing that right hand directly below the face and inhaling, lifting up with the left hand. On the exhale, threading that left hand over to the right and stretching out the right arm. Again, we have those options to walk that right hand more to the left or to take that nice bind. Wrapping the right arm around the body, taking the right shoulder up to the ceiling, and letting that gaze fall wherever it feels comfortable for you. Release that bind, bring that right hand back down to the mat. Coming back into tabletop, we're going to curl our toes. We're going to take an inhale breath, and we're going to push into the mat, and we're just going to lift the knees for a second. This way we get a nice stretch into the ball of our feet and our toes. Draw that navel back toward the spine. Keep that gaze between your hands. A little bit of core work here. Take an inhale breath first. And as you exhale, start to straighten the legs. Drawing the heels closer to the mat. Coming into our first downward facing dog of our practice. You can do a little dog walking here. Just bending those knees. And breathing as you bend into each knee, pushing into the ball of the opposing foot. You can also shake your head yes or shake your head no. Again, that's yogi's choice. Come back to your center, and we're going to inhale. We're going to lift up on those tiptoes. Then we're going to bend the knees, kind of like how we did when we were coming out of that tabletop position. And then we're going to inhale, straighten out those legs, come back to downward facing dog. This stretch is called knee circles. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale, lift up on those tiptoes. Exhale, bend into those knees, nice and deep. Inhale, straighten out the legs. Maybe draw those heels a little bit closer to the mat. Last one, inhale up. Exhale, bend. Inhale, extend. Take that gaze to the top of your mat. Keep the fingertips connected and walk up to the very top of your mat. Coming into forward fold. Take that inhale breath. And we're going to start to come up into a standing position. Just inching up 1 vertebra at a time. Last thing to come up is going to be head and shoulders. When you come up into standing, draw the shoulders down. Take an inhale breath. Bring those palms together and draw them down, hands to heart. I like to always start my practice this way because this is just a way of paying respect to my practice and just showing humility on the mat. Take that inhale breath, hands overhead, connecting. Exhale, forward fold. Stretching into that forward fold. We're going to open up the feet, about mat width apart. Get a bend in those knees. Grab opposite elbows. Let the top of your head point down toward the mat and just start to sway. Start to loosen up just a little bit. Again, this is a good place to shake your head yes or shake your head no. We're just opening up that lower back, Stretching into the hamstrings. You may feel a little bit in the thighs and the calves. Come back to rest and release your hands to the mat, heel toe the feet, below the hips. Take an inhale breath and come up to that halfway mark. Now, halfway lift may be where your palms are gently resting on your thighs, or they may be resting on your shin. But we want to have that nice flat back. Relax those shoulders. Let the neck be nice and long. Let's cycle through that a couple more times. Inhale, forward fold. And let's exhale, halfway lift. Inhale. And exhale. Good job. Inhale, come back to that forward fold. Let's walk our feet out to a plank. For our plank, we want to make sure those shoulders are directly above our wrist. Feet can be hip distance apart, or they can be closer together for more challenge. Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Come into downward facing dog. We're going to take that right foot and we're just going to move it in between our hands. You can lift up that right leg or not, yogi's choice. And we're going to float that left knee down to the mat. We're coming into what looks like a runner's lunge. We want to make sure that the right knee is not hyperextended over our right toes. And we want to make sure that the weight of the body is on the top of that left kneecap. Go ahead and stagger the feet. In other words, bring that right foot a little bit closer to the right edge of your mat. You can also use a blanket or a towel under that left knee. Release those hands up. Take that inhale here and maybe just breathe, closing the eyes, allowing that energy of the body to just settle. Palms facing toward each other just so we can feel that nice little energy connection between the palms. Take an inhale breath, frame that right foot. We're going to set the hips back and we're going to straighten out that left leg. Now you can stay on your fingertips or you can come down to the palms. Coming down to the palms is stretching just a little bit deeper. You can stay here or take an inhale breath. Draw the navel back toward the spine. Hinge forward just a little bit more. Bring the head back to center. Nice bend into that right knee. Lift those hands up for a moment. Frame that right foot. Curl the toes of the left. Right foot comes back to meet the left in our plank position again. Enjoy the plank, breathe. Take that inhale breath. Exhale to downward facing dog. Take that left foot and let's bring it in between the hands. Float that right knee down, staying on the top of the kneecap. Bringing the left foot closer to the left edge and taking that inhale breath. Allowing that energy to settle. Nice stretch in those hip flexors. Frame that left foot, take an inhale first. Straighten out that left leg. Again, coming onto our fingertips, or maybe deepening the stretch, coming onto our palms. Take another inhale breath. Draw the navel back toward the spine and hinge forward just a little bit deeper. Come back to center. Nice bend in that left knee. Lift those hands up overhead. Frame the left foot. Curl the toes of the right foot. Right foot comes up to meet the left. Inhale, lift it halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bring those hands all the way up. Bring them overhead and bring those hands to heart. Inhale, lift those hands up. Make that connection. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. We're going to walk the feet back, come into that downward facing dog first. Gently transition those knees down to the mat. coming into tabletop position. For this last stretch, we're going to come up onto our knees, and we're going to take that right foot first. We're going to extend it out beside us, and we're going to attempt to have that right foot nice and flat if we can. Again, the use of your towel or your blanket under that left knee. We're going to place the right hand to our hip, keeping the heart center open, shoulders back. Inhale, lift that left hand up. Maybe take that right hand to the right thigh and come over. Left hand comes over to the right, like a little half moon. This is called the gate pose. Inhale, come back to center. Right hand comes back to the hip. And using our core, using our center, we're going to bring that left hand down to the mat or the floor, nice and slow. We're going to take that right hand, release it, and bring it overhead. Making sure that we're keeping the heart center open. For a little bit of balance here, a little extra, you can lift up that right foot. Keep that right foot flexed. You can bend that right knee. Bring your right hand back and open up into a nice back bend. Release that bind, again using your core. Come back up to center, hands come to the hips. We're gonna do the other side. Stretch out that left foot. Take that left hand, bring it down to the waist, and this time lifting the right hand. Take that inhale breath first, and take it over to the left hand side. We want to make sure that left hand is either above or below the left knee joint. We never want to place pressure on our knee joints. Take an inhale breath, and we bring both hands overhead. Maybe bring that left hand to the hip using our core. Bring that right palm down to the mat. Lifting up and taking that left hand overhead. You can skip this part or lift that left leg, bend, and extend it into a nice back bend. Breathe while you're doing this. Go ahead, release. Come up nice and slow and bring those knees under the hips. Come back to tabletop, open the knees wide, big toes touch. Push back for a brief child's pose. Let your forearms rest on the mat and walk those fingertips to the top of your mat just so you can get just a little bit more of a stretch in the shoulders. Continuing with your breath. Walk those hands back, come back into tabletop position. And then we're going to bring it back into a seated position. Come back into that seated position. Find a nice place to rest your hands as you end your practice. Today you'll notice I have a lot of shirts where I like to have sayings or mantras. Today my shirt is saying brave. We're all going through a very difficult time with this challenge here in our life. So it's just important to just keep that in mind, to just be brave, continue to take care of yourself. And with that, we're going to seal this practice with Namaste. Namaste, yogis. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon.